Bohaterski zryw powstańców warszawskich.
Today we commemorate the heroic uprising of Warsaw residents. At the W hour, sirens wailed in the capital, but also throughout Poland. This is a special moment for millions of Polish people, especially for our heroes who survived this day and the entire 63 days of fighting. And today, they are honored throughout Poland. What did today's celebrations and remembrance of the heroes look like? There is a city where the memory of heroes is engraved on every wall that remembers German bullets. But it is especially important today, on the 81st anniversary of the outbreak of the Warsaw Uprising.
Pamiętam, że to było dla nas wielkie przeżycie.
I remember that it was an emotional experience for us because we believed that we would succeed in driving out the Germans. It was such an uplifting feeling that no insurgent will ever forget it. That is why we come here every year to remember it all, because it gives us the motivation to live. It's the insurgents who remain a living lesson in history, ethics, and morality. They are role models and remain heroes to this day.
Czcimy zatem dzisiaj
Today, on the first moments of the anniversary of the outbreak of the Warsaw Uprising on August 1st, we honor the memory of the heroic soldiers of the Warsaw Uprising, those who fought in this uprising with weapons in their hands. It was the largest armed action of the underground in German-occupied Europe. On August 1st, 1944, about 40 to 50,000 insurgents took up arms. Planned to last a few days, it lasted over 2 months. Ceremonies commemorating this day were held today throughout Poland. The focal point was Warsaw, which paid for the uprising with its own blood.
Powstanie warszawskie było
The Warsaw Uprising was the greatest patriotic act in the history of our nation. It was an act of great heroism. There were questions as to whether this uprising had to break out. Today, the answer is very often a resounding yes. There was no other option. The capital city, although severely damaged, is now proud of the heroes of the uprising.
nasi powstańcy
Our insurgents, civilians, scouts, children, and youth clashed with the German machine of evil, the evil of German National Socialism, which did not arise after 1933 thanks to Adolf Hitler, but which was first cultivated in the 19th century by Prussia, and then in the 20th century. This clear anti-Polish sentiment, both intellectual and state-sponsored, first in Prussia and then in Germany, led to the crimes we are commemorating today. The insurgents never lost hope.
Nigdy się nie bałem.
I was never afraid except once when the Germans were taking us away, because there was a hospital on the street in the park in Żoliborz, and when the Germans took us away, I was afraid for the first time in my life. But their heroism survived. Even in difficult moments, I knew that one day the sun would shine on us, and that victory would surely come. I believed in this unwaveringly throughout my entire life, that we would live to see a free Poland. A march commemorating the Warsaw Uprising also took place on the streets of Warsaw.
Rozumieli, kim są Niemcy. Ale wtedy ci
They understood who the Germans were, but at that time, the insurgents and Poles still remembered the times of the partitions, not only those of Nazi Germany, but the times of partitions, Germanization, and the destruction of Polishness. And with weapons in their hands, they stood up to prevent this Germanization and destruction of Polishness. The march proudly passed through the streets of the capital.
powstanie warszawskie.
The Warsaw Uprising was a quintessentially Polish uprising because we are such people that even in the face of German cruelty and barbarism, we were ready for a military uprising, a social uprising. We were ready for profound sacrifices to give our lives so that Poland could be free and independent. Honor and glory to the heroes.